Assalamualaikum. We are the world largest biofuel producer today, Jatropa based, and we are in 52 countries. Now, Malaysia is the world largest exporter of palm oil. Thanks to the scheme which is called FELDA in Malaysia, where my father was one of them in 1970s, where the government in Malaysia, they provided 10 acres of palm oil plantation with a house to the farmers, which include my father. And today, FELDA became the backbone of the country, Malaysia. The growth of Malaysia was one of them because of FELDA's program. Now, this program we duplicated, but this time it's not palm oil, it's Jatropa. Because biomass, we have this technology that can turn water into biofuel. Water can be mixed with fossil fuel with our technology of nano-emulsion and polarizations, and we are in 52 countries with this technology. With this technology, we come up with a master plan of Jatropa Agropolitan Business Clusters, where in this program, each farmers, each person, we will give 10 acres of Jatropa plantation plus a fully furnished house. So the program, the agreement that we're signing today is to implement, for us to invest and implement 5 blocks of Jatropa Agropolitan Business Clusters. And these 5 blocks will involve 50,000 hectares, which is at 5 locations. And these 5 blocks will give employment, new employment to 38,750 people. 38,750 people will get new employment, and we will build 15,625 fully furnished house for these people. And this is the program which FELDA has made it very successful in our country. So we want this program to be implemented here, but with Jatropa. Now, this program, this Jatropa Agropolitan Business Clusters, not only the house that we provide to the farmers, and from their harvest monthly income, we will deduct from the cost that we invested, but also we will implement all the infrastructures, road infrastructures, everything, water, everything, including the neighborhood centers, the amenities and everything, which includes school, hospitals, etc. So all this will be developed and it will become a new town. So this is what we call Jatropa Agropolitan Business Clusters. And in this case, in Kaduna State, we will implement 5 blocks. And these 5 blocks, as I said to you, is 50,000 hectares in 5 different locations. And the investment that we have committed for this purpose is $2.4 billion that we will invest in Kaduna State. Now, apart from the Jatropa Agropolitan, we will also implement and invest the waste-to-energy plant. Waste-to-energy plant, the technology that we have is called biodigester. Biodigester means there's not incinerator, which means there's no pollution at all. And this 1,000 ton garbage per day, the waste-to-energy plant, we will invest in Zaria City. We have been to the site, we have checked. The area is already, we are ready to invest, and our investment for this waste-to-energy plant alone is about $137 million. And this 1,000 ton garbage per day will produce 288 megawatt hour electricity that can supply to 96,000 houses at 3 kilowatt hour per house. Imagine that. And with no pollution at all with our technology. And that is our commitment. And the 2 agreements today, number 1 is for the Jatropa Agropolitan, and number 2 is for the waste-to-energy plant, which costs $137 million that we will invest for both. And we are committed here. In fact, with us here are the team of investors, the people who developed, who constructed Twin Tower KLCC. You imagine that, just next to me here. the person who constructed KLCC Petronas Twin Tower. So they are all here to meet with the governor to show our commitment that we will invest. This agreement is the starting point. Now, and the duration for this implementation would be only 2 years. Which is until 2019, it will be completed, all these 5 blocks. Why? Why? Because we are going to use the latest technology of prefab green housing system. For example, we can develop and construct a house in 8 hours with 8 workers. We can develop a house in 8 hours with 8 workers. Can you imagine that? So with this kind of technology, we can implement all this in 2 years' time. That's our commitment. And the moment we start with Kaduna, we hope that we can extend this project to all the other states in Nigeria. All the states in Nigeria. That's our commitment as well. And we hope that Kaduna, our intention and our target, Kaduna would be biomass operational headquarters, number 1. Number 2, Kaduna would be the new green city development. New green city development means after we have proven to the governor that we implemented this project, we're going to propose to the governor that we want to invest, if possible, a bigger investment to develop Kaduna as the clean energy hub, as the clean energy hub, regional clean energy hub for the north, which means we're going to turn Kaduna to be the new green city with the centralized everything here. The investment is even more bigger, much bigger. But we have to prove with this project first to the governor. That's our commitment. And we also already have biomass plant, production plant in Zaria City. We already have our own factory in Zaria City where we have our 9 products that we're going to produce here. So the factory are all ready. We are not here just talking, but we already have our own factory already in Zaria City. You can visit anytime. Now, as I said to you, we have with us today the consortium of the construction. Now, in this consortium, we have 21 Malaysian companies. 21. And we have 6 companies from China, which means this consortium equipped with the latest technology and with more than 30 years experience doing turnkey. Turnkey means build, operate, transfer. For example, for the KLCC, it was on turnkey. Build, operate, transfer, we did first, then the government pay later. Which means each of these members, we have our own individual capacity to invest on turnkey and BOT projects. That's our commitment. And thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
I remember some months back we signed an MOU with BATC, Development Berhad, to progress these 2 projects. One of the projects is centered around the planting and the development of Jatropha, and the other has to do with managing our waste to create wealth. We are very excited by the capabilities and the technology that BATC brought to the table. I will be looking forward for when you come back so that we formalize this. It is my pleasure on behalf of the state government to welcome you back and to thank you for the work that you've done since we signed the MOU. I'm aware that you've already incorporated a Nigerian company as the vehicle for the implementation of this project, in which will be partners. I'm happy also that you have brought your financial and technological capacity to implement this project, while the state government creates the conducive environment to enable its implementation. As far as provided land is concerned, I want to assure you that we will do our bit to ensure that you have the land. In fact, I've been assured by the Kaduna Investment Promotion Agency that the land is already available. We are just waiting for this day to sign this agreement and then develop a very clear project implementation plan and what role the state government will play to support you. I have already briefed the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments about this project, and they're looking forward to receiving from us a comprehensive briefing so that we see what role the federal government can play to encourage the realization of this investment. For the Waste to Wealth project alone, this company is investing about $137 million. And for the other project, the 5 clusters will in the end cost billions of dollars, all of which will be private investment. The state government will just provide the land and be a facilitator and advocate. But for us, what is exciting about this project is that it will create jobs and opportunities for our young people in Kaduna State. Just early this month, we commissioned one of the largest agricultural investments ever into the state, which will add some 30,000 direct jobs and up to 300,000 indirect jobs. We're excited about that, and we hope that in 2 years from now, we'll be able to invite our president to come and commission one of these 2 projects at least. So with this, I want to thank you for having confidence in Nigeria, for choosing to invest in Kaduna State, and we laud and support your grand vision of making Kaduna the center of green energy in Nigeria. We look forward to that. We've already started dreaming of that day when every young person in Kaduna State will have the opportunity to be employed in a productive capacity. This is what projects like this bring to the table.
In the life of this administration, this very important and massive investment that is being proposed, whose agreement you have just signed, Your Excellency, is most importantly going to bring so many jobs we very much desire for our teeming youths as a state. in addition to other benefits that will accrue from this project. As chairman of Kadipa, I want to assure our investors that we will do all that is required to give you the necessary support in terms of particularly the cooperation of our communities around the various sites and any other form of support that we might require in the course of the implementation of this project. We will also work hard towards ensuring that this project is delivered on time. I'm happy to note that it is proposed to be handed over or completed within the next 2 years, and I presume before the end of the first phase of this administration. With that, I want to thank you and to welcome you to Kaduna State and to assure you that your security and your interests in the course of implementation of the project is guaranteed. Thank you very much.
Okay, see, the key is Jatropa. Now, we know the fact that Jatropa in Nigeria has failed. Not only in Nigeria, the whole world has failed. But Bionas, BATC stands for Bionas Agropolitan Technology Corridor. Bionas, we became the only company in this whole world that's successful in Jatropa. Not only successful, but we became the biggest Jatropa-based biofuel producer in the world today. And we are in 52 countries. 52 countries. Now, that's one point. Now, with this Jatropa, the reason why we successfully implemented Jatropa all over the world with the products that we sold and used by the people, by our clients all over the world. Why? Because the technology that we have. The technology that we have is called nanoemulsion and polarization, where we mix water with fossil fuel. Water with fossil fuel. For example, 60% of gasoline or benzene or petrol, we mix with water 20%. Water and gasoline cannot be mixed, cannot. But the moment we mix 20% more Jatropa additive, which means 60% benzene or gasoline plus 20% water and plus 20% Jatropa additive, when we mix, it becomes B40. And this B40, the color, translucent, exactly how the benzene looks like, the gasoline, exactly, translucent, beautiful, yellow color, exactly the benzene, and you can use immediately in your car without any modification to your engine. Now, I am talking about 40% here. What is 40%? Water. Water is 20%. Another 20% is Jatropa additive. Now, we are talking about 40% saving on import of benzene, of gasoline. The country, Nigeria government, would save import or consumption on benzene 40%. We replace it with water. Water is abundant. And we replace it with Jatropa, 20%. And that Jatropa, we can make the people of Nigeria plant Jatropa again.
So, we would like to know why you chose Kaduna.
Why we choose Kaduna? Then he better answer that question.
Thank you very much. One of the reasons is that in the first instance, in October 2016, the federal government, through the now Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, took the responsibility of ensuring that this country satisfy the condition for the United Nations COP21 agreement for carbon emission reduction. Now, she was trying to get the quickest way of ensuring that carbon emission is reduced in Nigeria to the minimum that we can cope up, at least within the finances of the country. That's number one. Number two, she was also looking at, she has a problem, or rather she had a problem, or the federal government had a problem with an area called the Great Green Wall. The Great Green Wall covers from Kebbi State up to Taraba, where these states border the desert. So, and if you understand how the development of the Great Green Wall started, the idea was to plant trees so that you can now prevent desertification into the country. So when she was appointed minister and we brought the issue of Jetrofa to her, that look, Jetrofa does very well on marginal land, unproductive land. And probably that is one of the quickest ways she would be able to take care of the desert issue. Now she said, look, can you prove to me that actually Jetrofa works? I said, oh, sure. But when she went to her profile, she saw that federal government has started Jetrofa since 2005, that's one. In 2007, the federal government introduced the National Biofuel Policy and Incentive 2007 to encourage the production of Jetrofa through NNPC. It became a directive so that this development will lead to the production of biofuel. Biofuel will be used in mixing, we call it blending, with normal petrol so that you can reduce importation of petrol into the country, that's one. You can now also remove pollution from the atmosphere because the burning of petrol actually pollutes the atmosphere. All right, so when we now brought her the fact that, look, biomass exists, and it was true. A national workshop was organized. In this workshop, all the states of the Federation came, United Nations came, a lot of countries came, and they realized that the weakness that actually biomass has the quickest solution to biofuel production, which was one of the key things that countries globally have been looking for through the reduction of carbon emission, because that is the quickest way you can reduce carbon emission from burning fossil fuel from cars, trains, ships, boats, motorcycles. Aviation. And that was when she asked that we should develop, when she saw the program, she said we should develop a pathway. She called it a pathway for solving the problem of desertification. She gave us a challenge, and what actually we did, not only we developed a pathway, but developed a master plan for the development of the place. All right? So, and then that was where the issue of Kaduna also came in, and it became very important because, number one, Kaduna is out of the Great Green Wall. That's number one. Number two, Kaduna is central to the country in a number of things. Number three, this government has shown so much consistency in terms of the ease of doing businesses. And it will be easier and faster to prove the concept in Kaduna than even in the Great Green Wall. And to be very, we signed MOU in May. We did what was called project implementation program to ensure that the state government provide us the necessary environment and support to ensure that we get to the agreement. We did a timeline, and this timeline was delivered. You cannot believe it, with civil service in Kaduna State. Within this period to now, we're able to sign this agreement. And I'm telling you, the 2 years we said we're going to deliver this program is going to be a consistent thing. The rollout will be consecutive. Each of the blocks will start at the same time, not that one will start after the other. So the timeline is 18 months. 18 months, not that it will be finished. Jetrofa will start with a house, and that's why you see the giants of the industries in Malaysia here. Not only they are constructing, but they are also investing. If you know the Twin Tower, these two, the gentleman here, Had Said, that is the architect, that is the builder of the Twin Tower. So to build not only the houses, the plantation, including social amenities, roads, hospitals, schools. Malaysia, like Sister Zorana said, became successful in the palm oil because it provided a cluster. Cluster means put farmers together. They should not run around like wild people so that you start. Once they are there, they know that that is what they should be doing. And you will see what will be given to them. Dr. Ghani here is a specialist in providing the best of the best accommodation for how a modern farmer will live. We call them techno-planters. We don't call them farmers. We're going to call them techno-planters. And you will see that these farmers, a lot of them will be from a number of our youths, and that is just one regime. The other regime is called the contract farmers that will be supplying the seed. So your normal fathers, brothers, and sisters who are regular farmers will be used to supply seed, while the young men from school leavers to graduates will also be the techno planters. Now, they are not going to come out of the wind. Ahmadu Bello University is already with us to do the Center of Excellence for the training, and Kaduna State University is anchoring to be responsible for the training in Kaduna State.
Technology, prefab, green housing system, where we can develop a house in 8 hours with 8 workers. It is true. We can do that.
Per day.
But
No, 8 hours, 8 workers. It's not even per day.
it's not,
So in one day we can develop many houses, maybe 100 houses. It depends on how many workers you have. It's 8 hours, 8 workers.
Per house.
the houses will be available before even the farmers get in there, the techno planters. So they're not going to go on a barren land. Tomorrow we're going to go around the whole of the locations with everybody here. And I don't know what Kadifa is making arrangement for. Otherwise, we'll see how from tomorrow work starts.
For your information, we also have the technology that we can develop. In fact, we have developed. We constructed a building, 57 stories building, in 19 days. I repeat, 57 stories building in 19 days, which is starting from the ground, not including the foundation. From the ground to the 57 stories in 19 days. This technology we're going to implement here.
How many jobs will this project create?
Okay.
The total is 38,750.
38,000. 38,750 people.
And all the 255 wards in the state will have representation because we have 5 blocks. One is at Kachia, the other one is at Ancho. We have Bindungwari 1, 2, and 3. The portal for employment is already ready. I think you understand. So each ward, the 255 ward, will be represented in all these blocks. And the Kadipa, that is the Kaduna State Investment, has already working seriously on this to ensure that this is done. This agreement is dovetailing into 2 companies. All right? These 2 companies will be responsible, one for the waste to energy, the other one for the agropollutants. So that it's no longer a civil service talk again or a campaign talk again. No, it's a rollout talk now.
Yes.